Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day. It's Chris here from I Made a Podcast, Podcast Production Labs, and all the other things. Now, I wanted to go live again. I know. When I started this, I said I was going to go live every week, but I got busy. So I wasn't able to go live last week. So, what I've decided to do is go live every other week, somewhere in the middle of the week, either on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So here I am today, Thursday. Last time I went live 2 weeks ago. And I just want to give you an update again to give you a behind the scenes look at life as a podcaster, to let you know that I do have a real life. I do a lot of things, but it is still possible for you to do a lot of things and to also have a podcast. So, in the past 2 weeks, what have I been doing? I've been doing a lot of work. I got my notebook down here. I've been doing a lot of editing, a lot of recording, and a lot of interviews with some other podcasters for all of my podcasts, for the Faith Fight podcast and for I Made a Podcast. And the reason why I'm doing a lot more than usual is because I'm actually effective right now. I've actually moved out of my studio location, so I'm no longer there anymore. So if you remember some of my episodes, I have shown or I did some of those episodes from my studio. I'm no longer there no more, so I'm actually looking for a bigger, nicer, more comfortable place to record my podcast in. So for the time being, right now, I'm just staying home and I'm going to be recording my episodes from here. Now, the reason why I did all of that work ahead of time is because I know there's going to be a little bit of a transition where I'm not going to be able to record my podcast episodes regularly. So I went ahead of time and I did maybe like 2 or 3 episodes in a week and I recorded them. So I have them already saved up, scheduled, already ready to go. Actually, there was only one more that I'm actually that I was editing this morning, and I'm going to schedule that for, I think that one is after Mother's Day or whatever the case is. But anyways, that is the reason why I've been so busy in the past 2 weeks, because I was trying to be proactive, knowing that I was not going to have a studio place to record my podcast any longer. However, I do have a surprise that I'm going to share with you guys really soon, so stay tuned for that. Now, I have did a few episodes of I Made a Podcast as well. So today is Thursday. It is April 30th, and I released an episode with Krista Snow. She is a podcaster. She's a new podcaster, but the conversation that I had with her was so amazing. And the reason why it was just so amazing to me is because of the thought process that she went into in this strategy for her podcast. So she has an audio only podcast. It's called Level Up, and a lot of people talk about repurposing content on multiple platforms. And I want to make sure that we take a look at this strategy that she is employing for her podcast, because she is using multiple platforms to promote her podcast, but she's not sharing the same content on every single platform. Let me explain. She has her podcast audio version on the podcast app, so you can go and listen to the audio only version of the podcast. She's also doing a behind the scenes live on YouTube, uh, regarding her podcast, but it's not the same podcast. So she's talking about her podcast with one of her co-hosts, and she's doing that live on YouTube. She is also doing a Substack uh, blog post called "Dear Listener," I believe it's called. I, don't quote me on that, but it's called "Dear Something," and it's on Substack. Now, it's very interesting, her strategy that she has for her podcast, because she is going out and taking the content from her podcast and repurposing it on all of those different platforms in a way that those people on those platforms would prefer to consume content, because every platform is not made the same. So she's actually taken that into account when she is releasing her information or releasing her content on all of these different platforms. However, every single thing that she releases points people back to her podcast, the audio only podcast. And I think that this is a really, really amazing strategy that she is using for her podcast, because she's hitting people on the various platforms in the way that they want to consume content on those platforms. And I feel like this strategy is really effective because it optimizes what those platforms are best used for. Now, when it comes to finding a strategy for your podcast, you gotta you got to do some experiments and see what works for you, and try to adapt what doesn't work for you. So I would encourage everyone to try this strategy with their podcast. You see all of the different platforms that you're on right now. Maybe you might have one platform that you're the best at, stay with it, but you can try to see how you can repurpose your content, meaning take your audio podcast and change it slightly and optimize it for a specific platform and optimize it for that platform. An easy example is to take your podcast, and instead of just taking the audio, just write a blog post about it and then share it on Substack for people to read about it, and then put a link on that Substack uh, blog post for people to go and listen to your podcast. And it's amazing because it reaches out and it connects with different people on the different platforms. I find that strategy was really good. But go and listen to my episode that was released today with Krista Snow. Her podcast is called Level Up Podcast. You can go and listen to it. Listen to that conversation that I had with it. You will learn something from that conversation that I had with Krista. Now, I want to also mention, for I Made a Podcast, I had a conversation with Tally and Fran. They are the two of the founders of a platform called Northflow, and it's a I'm not going to get too much into it right now because that episode will be releasing sometime next month. So please subscribe to I Made a Podcast so that you can listen to that episode. But the conversation that I had with them is about their platform that they've created for podcasters. And I'm going to leave it right there, but make sure that you subscribe so that you can get that episode that I did with them. That episode is done, ready, scheduled, and good to go. And it was really interesting hearing their podcast journey as well. Okay. Now, I want to actually ask some questions to everyone who listens to this, either who's here live right now or who will be listening to it in the future. Now, I talked about why I'm being proactive about my podcasting and the work that I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. I also want to talk about AI podcasting. Okay, because I have a podcast that is completely AI, the entire process from the research to the script to the voice, every single thing is AI driven, and I publish it, and it's actually doing pretty well, better than I thought it would. So I want to hear your opinion on this. Now, the podcast it falls in the category of true crimes, and it's called Dirty Numbers. It's about fraud, scams, and financial crimes. And this is something that I'm just interested in hearing these stories, like Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, that those movies, and how the gang get together and they knock off a casino. I love movies like that. So these types of stories, when I hear about them on the news, they interest me. So I decided to create a podcast about it. But I didn't want it to take too much of my time. So that's why I decided to have a AI do it for me. But it's a really interesting question. And this is the question that I'm going to ask. Do you guys want me to break down how I am creating this AI podcast using AI completely from start to finish? Because if you do, I will either do a live here or one of my episodes on I Made a Podcast. I will go through the entire process if that's something that you want to hear about. Now, the other thing that I want to ask you is with regards to my podcasting gear. Now, as I mentioned before, I moved out of my previous studio location, so I have all of my gear right in front of me, right here on the floor. Everything that I use for my podcast, from the microphones to the lights to the cameras to the lenses to my teleprompter, Every single thing that I have is right in front of me here. So if you want me to go over some of the gear that I used in my studio, let me know, and I will do maybe a gear guide video for you and go over everything that I use and how I use it. Right. And again, the hope is to educate you guys on how I use my stuff. Uh, I don't have top of the line anything, but I have quality stuff and I know how to use it. So I want to share that with you so that you can, make better decisions, because to tell you the truth, it's not really about the gear, it's how you use what you have. All right. So I would love to, if you want to hear what I have and how I use it, I would love to do an episode or a live about that. But you let me know so that I can, prepare something and maybe release it in the future. Now, a lot of stuff going on. So please make sure that you go and listen to all of my podcasts and all of the podcasts for my clients. I'm going to run through the list right now for you. So I have the Faith Fight podcast. I'm doing a special episode on Success on Purpose coming out on Sunday. I made a podcast. You can listen to it. It's out today. My episode with Krista Snow. Go listen to that episode that came out today. I also have an episode on dirty numbers, and coming out on Monday next week, I'm releasing an episode that I did surrounding the Kit Kat heist that happened last month. And it was amazing, the stuff that I learned through that episode of the Kit Kat heist, when the truck was traveling between Italy and Poland, and it got hijacked and it disappeared, and over 400,000 Kit Kat bars disappeared. How does that relate to financial crimes? Listen to Dirty Numbers and you'll find out. That episode is releasing on Monday afternoon, so please go and check that one out. It's really, really interesting of why that is considered a financial crime. So go listen to that one. And then also my client's podcast. So Barbara Chambers, Your Deep Life for Christian Women podcast, new episode released today. Go and check it out. And also Strategize Your Life with Pastors Dean and Pastor Jacqueline. Go and listen to their podcast. I put links for all of those things in the description of this little video here, and I have a link tree. Click on it and you can get to all of the podcasts that I work with. And I do have some amazing podcasters that I'm working with. We're doing the process right now of getting things going. It's going to be great. And finally, I want to make sure that you guys are equipped. If you have a podcast idea, and if you're thinking about launching, you don't know how to launch just yet, I created a podcast readiness assessment tool. And the way that this tool works is you just answer a few questions, and at the end, you click submit, and then it gives you a breakdown of where you are, and it tells you if you're ready or not to launch your podcast. So if you do the questionnaire and it says that you're 90% ready, that's great. You're just about ready to launch your podcast so that it can make an impact in the lives of the people that you intend for it to reach. But if you did the assessment and it says that you're 50% ready, that's also great, because what it does is it will give you specific recommendations based on how you answered the survey or the questionnaire. All right. So this assessment is customized to you based on how you answered. And the links to do the survey is in the description of this live stream. And I would encourage you to go on and do the live stream and do the assessment as well. And if you want me to break down that assessment in maybe a podcast episode or in another live, let me know as well, because it was really cool to make that. To take all the insight that I've learned through podcasting and put it in an assessment that can help other people to get their podcast out there, so that you can get the recommendations that you need to make sure that your podcast can be successful when it starts. All right. So that's it for the live stream today. Go listen to all of the podcasts that I have out there. Links are in the description. Remember, the best time to start a podcast was 10 years ago, and the second best time is right now. So go ahead and make it happen. And these live streams will happen bi-weekly on either a Wednesday or a Thursday. So make sure that you subscribe and go make your podcast dreams come true. Make it happen, everyone. See you next time. Peace. Okay, end session. Bye.